What's going on, everybody? This is Timothy John, and we are officially in the franchise room right now. Have some very special guests. Before I introduce him, I'd like to introduce my co-host. I have two of my mentors and partners. I first have Mrs. Joyce Todd. She was on the show last Monday. She had such a great time that she decided to come back this week and help me out with this interview. Are you there, Mrs. Todd?
I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Sounds great, sounds great. And next I have my partner in crime in N.I.P. And my first cousin also, Mr. Carl Hunter. Are you there, Carl?
I am here. Bless everybody.
All right, sounds good, sounds good. And we're going to go ahead and start off the show with a very, very special man and close man to my heart. He's a great mentor of mine. He has done so many things, I really don't know where to begin, actually. But he graduated from the University of Missouri in Columbia. He was a political and business reporter for the New York Times. He's also worked for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, reporter for the Arizona Daily Star, and I would not be remiss to mention that he was one of the many, many stars, even though he may not mention it, in the movie Boomerang, starring Eddie Murphy and Robin Givens. I'd like you all to welcome with me Mr. Jonathan Hicks. Are you there, brother?
I am here.
I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking some time out of your schedule to meet with me and join us in the franchise room today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Well, first, let me just ask about the movie real quick, because some people didn't believe that you were in that movie. So could you confirm that for the people that you were in the movie Boomerang?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was a number of years ago, but yeah, that's true.
Right, right. Let me ask you this: what do you remember about that movie? Like, what's your fondest memory of working on it?
Well, I can't say that it was the sort of thing that I pursued professionally. It was almost sort of accidental, or certainly at least coincidental, that I was in it. The movie was produced and directed by two brothers who were very good friends of mine, Warrington and Reggie Hudlin, who are from East St. Louis, but who found their way into New York and had lived here when I moved here about 25 years ago. And apparently there was someone who was supposed to be in the movie who wasn't able to make it. I don't know, happened, he got sick or something. And at the last minute they needed somebody to replace him, so they just called me up. I was at work. In those days I was a business writer still at the New York Times, and they just asked me if I would fill in for the person who they had assigned to the role who wasn't able to make it. So that was the genesis of that.
Well, that's great. Even though it was a cameo role, I will tell you that you did a great job, and I always am tickled whenever I watch it, telling people that I know him. So, yeah, that always inspires me whenever I see that, because acting is something that I do try to pursue a little bit. I want to just talk to you a little bit about your days at the New York Times, and just really want to ask, like, can you just tell us your road, how you got to the New York Times from graduating college?
Well, I at first worked at when I left Missouri, I moved to Arizona, and I was an announcer at a radio station there. It was a classical radio station. It was an NPR affiliate. And it has a classical station as well as a jazz station, and I was an announcer on formats. And then I did an internship, actually a fellowship, at the University of California, Berkeley, with the Institute for Journalism Education, which is now known as the Maynard Institute, named after Bob Maynard, the pioneer journalist who was a publisher of the Oakland Tribune. Mm-hmm. And I spent a summer there, and that's how I got really into professional journalism. And I started at the Arizona Daily Star and worked there for 2 years, and then went to Cleveland and worked there for 3 years at the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and then came to New York as a business writer about 25 years ago. And I left the Times a year ago to do some new things, and now I'm at the Du Bois Bunch Center for Public Policy, which is affiliated with the City University. And it's a think tank that looks at solutions or highlights solutions to systemic problems that have long troubled people of color in urban areas, not only in the United States but around the world.
And real quick, since you just brought that up, can you tell me how that transition came about to actually from being at the Times for so long and then starting this new endeavor?
Well, it was just time to do something different, and to, I just felt that it was time to really take on some new challenges. And it's been an incredible time since then. I do sort of what you're doing. I host a radio show weekly here in New York, and as part of my job at DBC, at the Du Bois Bunch Center for Public Policy. And in addition to that, I've just done a lot of things since I left there. In addition to working there, I was able to work on a documentary. I was a scriptwriter on a documentary about the Camp David Peace Accords that opened earlier this year at a film festival, the Monte Carlo Television and Film Festival. And more recently, I traveled to Liberia on a grant from the Ford Foundation to really look into setting up a journalism training program there of some sort, and also to do some writing about how Liberia is coping with the aftermath of such a lengthy and debilitating civil war.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember when you told me to check it out. I'm glad that you had me check that out because I was definitely interested in it. And it really got me wanting to do more. And that leads me to my next question. If you could pinpoint, because I know you've always been somebody active in the community and all about public service, if you had to attribute that to one thing, what would you say like your motivation and foundation for that came from?
You mean being involved in community-oriented activities?
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I just think that it's important. I mean, we're all. I think that the extent to which we make other people's issues and concerns our own, I think that's sort of the pathway to a fulfilling life. It also prevents us from being too involved in our own issues and our own self-pity, but there are plenty of things to get involved in. And when you try to do some things that highlight or at least try to solve conditions that other people are dealing with, I think it makes everyone's life much, much more fulfilling. I do want to say something about Liberia, and I think that it's a place that I hope more Americans, particularly black Americans, develop a kinship with. It has such an interesting history with black America, and we are linked so closely. And now that the country is coming out of civil war and they've had stable government for a few years, I'm hoping that more and more people will have an interest and get involved in trying to make a contribution to the stability of that country.
Definitely. Okay. And I could go on and on with my questions, but real quick, I just wanted to ask Mrs. Todd, do you have a question for John Hicks?
Not really. It's just everything just seems so interesting. I'm sorry I didn't have a chance to really to read his bio before we.
You told me not to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
But I mean, I'm just listening, and everything sounds so interesting, and I really don't have a question though.
Okay.
At this time.
Yes, ma'am. Sounds good. How about you, Carl? Did you have a question for Mr. Hicks?
Well, I'm just right with Miss Todd. It's interesting to talk to a person like Mr. Hicks and listen to what he has to say and everything. But, like me, myself, it's really nothing else I can say just by listening to what he's done bought out and expired and all of this,
Got you. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Brother Hicks, definitely don't want to let you go just yet. We got another person I want to bring in. Real quick, could you give everyone the information to listen to your radio show?
Yeah, the show's called Urban Focus, and the best place to get it, I mean, it is aired on Wednesdays, and the best place to get it is on the Internet. And at the Du Bois Bunch Center's website, we broadcast it. You can listen to current shows and previous shows, and that's www.duboisbunch, that's D as in David, U, B as in boy, O-I-S as in Sam, B as in boy, UNCHE.org. Du Bois Bunch. It's named after W.E.B. Du Bois, the legendary civil rights leader, and Ralph Bunche, the world famous African American diplomat.
Right. And I'm just really amazed and fascinated by just the whole foundation of what you all do. And as far as your articles and whatnot, where can they, like, for instance, the article on Liberia, where could they check that out at?
Well, there's a whole series of articles about Liberia that are on the website. And I do want to mention that it's an interesting country because it was founded in West Africa in the 1840s by a group of freed African Americans. Some of them had been former slaves, and they all migrated to this particular region of West Africa and started the Republic of Liberia, which was made as created as an independent country in the 1840s. They actually started coming there as early as the 1820s. So you have, Black Americans that actually left this country in the early part of the 19th century and founded this country in West Africa, and that's sort of a historic link between the two.
Definitely. Well, I want to thank you for your time. Before I let you go, I definitely want to thank you on air for everything that you've done for me, because you were real instrumental in just keeping my faith strong by sending me the book Purpose-Driven Love. And I actually mentioned the book on the show last time, but I didn't tell the people where it came from. So I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I know that you've touched thousands of lives within the bond of KSI, as well as all across the country. And I just want to thank you for that, and just let you know that you are a great pioneer and influence to a lot of people. And so if there's anybody who was in this position as I've been in, who needed, like, encouraging words or whatnot, is there anything that you could say to those people that may be listening right now who may have dreams to pursue but necessarily don't see the big picture, Well,
my view is that I think that God is the one who defines what doors get open and what doors don't get open, and as long as we're sort of tethered to what His will is for our lives, we'll be all right. And the question is, how do we get greater understanding of what He wants us to do with our lives? So
definitely. Now, before I let you go, definitely want to bring in an old classmate of yours from the University of Missouri. And we also, my next guest, I'll go ahead and bring him on. I have Mr. Louis Diuguid from the Kansas City Star. Are you there, brother?
Yes. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Can't be better. And Jonathan, it's good to talk to you, or good to hear you on the radio. You sound
Louis,
fabulous.
It's nice to hear your voice. It really is.
Yeah, we were at the University of Missouri together, but we're also born and raised in St. Louis, or at least raised. Isn't that right?
Yeah, well, I was certainly born. Yeah, I was born in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And my father, of course,
Hometown.
was the first black reporter with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch.
Hometown.
Now,
well, see, you have a longer history in journalism than I do. I'm the first in my family.
Well, you're doing just fine, though.
Now, did you guys know each other before college?
No, but we knew each other in college.
We did.
No.
Definitely in college. There were so few black students at the University of Missouri that those of us who were there, we definitely got to know each other pretty well.
Sounds good. Yeah, that's great, because I asked both of you if you knew each other. You said yes, and I just asked, were you guys friends? Because I didn't want you to be like bitter journalist rivals, and then I had you both on.
I'm actually a Louis Diuguid admirer.
You were both.
Please, man. I was admiring you. You were the one who went to the New York Times. I was still scuffing and scratching in Kansas City.
Well, we all have to scratch somewhere, brother. Believe me. And
yes,
scratching
absolutely.
Here too.
Absolutely. Well, it's part of the game. Journalism is a tough business, and anyone who gets into it, my hat's off to those individuals. Anyone who stays in it, I bow down.
Mm-hmm. And just a real quick question, because to me, I can apply it to maybe sports, to where if you have two people playing in high school or even in college, and then they go on to make it to the NBA or even the CBA, it's like you feel like you guys both accomplished something together, even if you were in two totally different fields or two totally different areas of the country. And so I just want to ask you guys both, Brother Hicks, before I let you go, like, how does it feel seeing the success of Lewis, and Lewis, how does it feel seeing the success of John, where you guys both, like, were trained together?
I think one of the world of journalism is sort of, particularly people of color in journalism, has been almost like its own fraternity. And I think that there's a lot of mutual admiration and support. And, I admire, Lewis for he's still in there in a very difficult field that's having a lot of challenges in today's economy. And, I sort of did my 30 years in the industry and then moved on to, kind of new pastures. But what he's doing, I mean, he's really in the trenches, and I think we all admire that sort of longevity and stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah. The other side of it is that I'm not as smart as Jonathan to know when to get out when the getting's good. But the thing that we'd always do as we got out of the university and were in our careers is we would see each other at the National Association of Black Journalists conventions.
Right.
And that was a time to catch up, and it was a time for fellowshipping and networking and things of that sort that would allow us to just reconnect. And again, that's why we have maintained a friendship, though distant, over these years. And I continue to do journalism. It's something that I feel a great passion for, and I'll continue to do it as long as I can.
Definitely. Well, I want to go ahead and thank you, Brother Hicks, for your time. Just thank you for your knowledge and just everything that you shared. And if you're willing, then I'd love to have you back on the show at a later date.
That would be very nice. Thank you. Lewis, good to hear your voice, man.
Same here, Jonathan. Take care now.
You too.
All right, take care, brother, and I'll talk to you later.
Where we are in the stream, Kappa Alpha Psi was founded, and God is praised as we sing, and God is praised. We sing, God help our voices to ring, and for me there'll be no other like Finding Phi has been our motto, and achievement is our goal. If you know the history of campus, you know they're noble. You know they're noble. he crossed the river Jordan to that far-off golden shore. There we'll find the resting place for captives, a place we all can adore, yes, a place we all can adore on that far-off golden shore, there to be with elder Watson forever and ever. More.
more time, man, for he's gonna drive you there. Times can be rough, traveling down the highways of your life. The road has bumps and turns. Yeah. They're gonna be shortcuts, detours, and some roadblocks up ahead. But through them all, we must learn. Learn that Jesus is my sword and my shield. He's my compass to guide my way. Yeah. We sing glory, hallelujah, amen. For all that he's done today. One more time, all aboard. All aboard, all aboard, all aboard. For this holy ride. Yeah. Don't bring no baggage. We're gonna be traveling light. Said it ain't no need to buy a ticket, no, no, no. Or even pay a fare. Yeah, just trust in the Savior. For he's gonna drive you there. One more again, man. For he's gonna drive you there. Well, let's ride. Let's ride, ride, ride. The Savior. Let's ride with thee. Get your ticket. Let's ride, ride, ride. So come on, get a ticket. Let's ride with Jesus.
Let's ride.
Let's ride, ride, ride. If it won't cost you nothing, let's ride with thee. If it won't cost you nothing, let's ride, ride, ride. You can ride for free. Let's ride with Jesus.
Let's ride.
Let's ride, ride, ride. Get on board. Let's ride with thee. I say get on board. Let's ride, ride, ride. You got to get on board. Let's ride with Jesus. Come on, guitar man. Yeah. Yeah. All aboard, all aboard, all aboard, for this holy ride. Don't bring no baggage, for we gonna be traveling light. Said it ain't no need to buy a ticket, no, 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 or even pay a fare. Yeah. Just trust in the Savior, for he's gonna drive you there. One more time, brother. For he's gonna drive you there. One last